Today's video, how to take that story, all those thoughts, and put them into motion without the words. We're going to focus essentially on subconscious drawing and how to really get into that. What you're going to learn here is 1, how to let go of perfectionism. 2, how to expand pathways in the brain, skirt your anxiety and make it work for you. 3, how to define the ego and what you're doing and not need to fight it. Just ride the ego, let it express itself, notice its nature, and notice how it can help you. 4, realizing the power of synchronicity by realizing that in your subconscious drawing, something's going to show up. Some kind of picture is going to create itself. And this is a bit of an analogy for the rest of your life. So you don't need to worry too much. You can just trust yourself. Hope you guys enjoy this. So in the first part of my Managing Your Energy series, I spoke about energy and presence. Guys, just coming back to the basics, and I suggest you do this through meditation. So what I've, in a nutshell, explained there is through meditation, it's the best way to really come back to yourself and experiment with what it is to be consciousness inside of a human body and realize that you're not your thoughts. And that actually, if you let your thoughts do what they're going to do after a while, you can actually have a different energy towards them. You don't have to become your thoughts. And so your emotions compared to your thoughts start to change because you can be relaxed. And just like in a dream, this stuff happens anyway. It's our sense of tension towards it and association with it that starts to mold our reality, or what we're capable of doing in our reality. Guys, if you haven't watched that video, you should take your time now, because these videos are better done in increments. So go back to my page, find the 2 episodes on energy and presence. They're not too long, 10 minutes each, and then come back to this. You'll really appreciate going through the process. Second video, I speak about subconscious journaling. Why? Because it's a great way to purge your thoughts. So I mentioned this in the video, but again, if you guys want to watch the video to know this more in depth and how you can manage it, 3 pages in the morning, first thing when you wake up, because that's when your subconscious is really alive, or before you go to bed, so you can clear the way for sleep. Just kind of, without judging what you're writing, just write everything that comes through your mind. Write till you feel the steam come off a little bit. The advantage to the journaling is after a while you can come back and notice what you've been writing, and then you can think back to what you've been writing and think about what were you doing differently that week that made your energy come from a different place, that kept your emotions in a different sphere. Were you listening to yourself? Were you not listening to yourself? These are all things you can find in other of my videos. How to truly listen to yourself, how to listen to the heart. You can compare it to those things. But at least you have tangible proof, the unconscious into the conscious, and you can read it and see what's been coming up and see what kind of managing your time leads to what kind of thoughts you need to unravel. But so guys, today I'm very excited because we're going to talk about coming away from narrative. And in particular, I'm going to talk about unconscious drawing. But I think it's important to go through the presence exercises and the subconscious journaling exercises before you come to the subconscious drawing, or the unconscious drawing. Because it's important to look at what your thoughts are, first from the inside, then from the outside, and then match it to your reality. Because what I want you guys to come towards is ego dissolution in these exercises, realizing that we are part of some kind of great energetic unfolding, and the part that you need to take care of the most is managing your energy and then going into action from that place. And if we could remind each other about this, then, you know, that's an amazing support right there. So first part of subconscious drawing, facing your perfectionist. When does this happen? So many times when I was teaching in art class, I would see kids who, even if there was a no stakes exercise, they just couldn't let themselves draw unless they knew they were really good at it. And I would tell them, just draw scribbles until you see something. It doesn't matter. And they weren't able to do this. And I know many adults who live their life like this. They don't want to try new things, even though the way time works is The first time you've done something, there's no reason for you to be good at it. You can still have fun. Unless you're, you've never played basketball and you're trying to play one-on-one against Kobe Bryant. That's different. But if it's something just like doodling, let yourself doodle. And this will bring up that anxiety. So your perfectionist is going to want to control the picture. Even if you're a seasoned drawer, your perfectionism is going to want to control the picture. This is something different. This is a meditative exercise. Come to your breath, come to what you see it feeling, let it come up. And if you have thoughts, then instead of thinking them, just put it on the page. And yes, I do encourage making noises as you do it. If you get into a flow, you can even hum a song. You can draw a soundtrack that you're humming. These are all great ways to know that you are really engaged in the practice and your subconscious is flowing. And the energy that you would have put into that journal, or the energy that's come from that journaling that's been stagnating in you, is being given expression, so you can then have a clear way into the next thing that you're going to put your energy into, because you're really thoroughly being with yourself and giving yourself a bit of praise. This is self-worship in a way, guys. This is self-love, to just really let yourself express without any stakes, without any expectation. Let your perfectionist rest a bit and let it know that it is held, at least in this moment. And so what you do is you just start applying pressure. Go with the strokes that you really want to put down first. Just do them. Really get involved. Feel the contact of the lead with the paper. Just see what you enjoy about that feeling rather than even what you're drawing. See if you can let go into that. And guys, if you have paints, I suggest trying this with painting as well. Oh, there's so many lavish flavors, textures, sensations to be had with a paintbrush and a mixing palette. Smells of the paint. Just all of it. Get lost in it. Just look at the colors until one of them speaks to you, and then know you just want to put that color. And when you put that color, look at the mark you put and go, oh, how? There's a whole nother dimension. How do I want to see this color expressed on the page? And what is the brush stroke that you want? Look at, if you have multiple paintbrushes, what is the tool that best expresses what your hand is trying to just onto the page? And if that's way too much to think about, get dirty. Put your hands in it. Slap it on. Splash it on. Just get a big piece of paper and maybe do it outside. Or do it somewhere safe to get dirty. And use watercolors, guys. Use something that washes off quite easily. But in any case, just, find the how rather than the why and the where. How do you want to do this? Listen to your body. Listen to yourself. And go. And eventually, if you start to draw something good, then your ego is going to come up. Hey there, ego. Guess what? You're invited to this party. Let the ego into the fun. Just tell yourself, have a mental check consciously. And guys, this will deepen your meditation so much. Go, the ego showed up. That's what that is. That's the thing that doesn't want to mess up the picture that I'm doing just for myself. That's the thing that wants this to look like something so I can show it to someone later or be proud of it later because Healer Holly showed us his and it was interesting, or some, crap. Although I hope you guys did like my unconscious drawing for the cover. I call it Inside Beyonce's Brain because that's Beyonce is the printed part of it. I didn't draw Beyonce, I just drew her conscious reality around her according to my subconscious reality. So it's really mine. As if I was a beautiful woman. But yeah, feel that ego and respond to it. Go more ego. Just makes it silly. Just go, yeah, okay, ego, what do you want me to do? You want me to... No. And then when you start to feel like you're back in your breath, which will happen, then flow again. And realize that that's all your ego ever has to be. Sometimes the ego works with you. It is part of the bigger picture. But you just shouldn't be getting attached to the ego. And once you start to invite the ego and incorporate it in your subconscious drawing, your subconscious painting in that way, You can maybe remember that sentiment in your everyday activities. And then life can get fun, especially if there's more people listening to this and actually starting to think this way. You imagine going to work and your boss and you are just trying to have a conversation which your ego slips in and you're both kind of like, oh, I'm going to perform my ego right now until I feel like I'm going to listen to this employee again, and just actually my heart will be open in the next step that we take. Maybe you sell the company in that day, you know, who knows? Maybe crazy stuff happens, you know? Let's make it interesting. Try it out. Why not? Just saying, you won't really understand what I'm saying until you start to do this conscious drawing, and it'll open you up. Guys, you can find heaven in an unconscious drawing. This is why art's so important. This is why state of performativity is such a magical space. This is why artists are so essential to assign. And guys, I'm not saying to be an artist here, but I'm just trying to, you know, flip the script on what is an important contribution to society. Anyway, next step. So you start to invite your ego in, and through this, you felt the anxiety that comes with the ego, and then you feel the anxiety drop and come back, because you're still maybe not sure at times about what you're drawing, if you did it right, if it was worth your time, if you liked it, if you hated it, if you wanted to tear it up, if this is just annoying, if you knew you weren't good at art anyway. And then maybe something about it, just like the meditation. First time you did 5 minutes, you remember how awful it felt, how much it sucked to sit through your thoughts and sit through all the emotions that came with it. And you kept going for some reason, 5 minutes at a time, turned to 10 minutes because you could just sit with yourself longer. And then you started to open up leisure moments into your life with yourself and with others, because you could stand in your power. Guys, watch the video if you haven't. Because of this weird practice of meditation. Up the game. Add subconscious drawing into it and imagine what kind of edges you're skirting and what kind of anxiety you're facing, and what kind of movements it will lead to in more dynamic situations. Try this stuff, guys. Open pathways. And also, it's connecting hand-eye coordination, or subconscious hand coordination. It is putting what's flowing through you into motion rather than getting caught up in the story. And which leads me to my last part, is seeing how the subconscious is actually trying to take us into a greater unification of the canvas of life. If we could just let all the juices that fill us up and that make us want to move flow out of us. Flow out of us. What you'll start to see is that things in your drawing will start to take a shape once you can let go enough and get, you know, just like regular meditation that wants to solve riddles in your head. I've ended up doing subconscious drawings where I'll just go in making markings. And yeah, sometimes I'll cycle through these two tactics. I'll let the ego in. If I feel like I see it starting to form an image, I'll try and complete the image. Like if I go, oh, that's starting to look like a butterfly or something, I'll go, well, let's make it look like a butterfly. But I'll do this loosely, guys, because I'm a crap drawer. I can't do a good butterfly. So I'll go, the ego stepped in, and the ego is making me want to do marks to make this look like a butterfly, but I'm still flowing. The ego is leading me to something else. So even when it doesn't look like a butterfly, if I want to mess that up after, I'll mess that up. Just don't get caught in the emotion. Let the emotion flow through you and come back to the markings you want to make, rather than the or even do the do a couple of those. Maybe those will be your dark Picasso. Sometimes I get into this and that ends up looking like something I'm going to show you guys right now. So here's my last subconscious drawing. That guy, I didn't know what he was going to become. He looks like a worm to me in the end. I just saw stairs and drew stairs, and then saw like, oh, I could put eyes. I see faces. I like to make faces after I've made something. But, okay, you see this guy. I call him this guy. He has some kind of chicken feet and stuff. I was just doing this line and just feeling and making sound. And then I just felt like scribbles here, just all this tension releasing. And then I came back to when everything else around it started taking shape. And sometimes I started light, and then had more certitude with other things. I don't know why that. Don't ask me. Just wanted something more floral in there after seeing that. So let the ego in at times. Flow subconsciously. Let the ego in at times. And just be messy. I mean, that bird wasn't a bird either. That was just some... And then I started seeing a bird, and I played with making it a bird. It's not really a bird, though, is it? It's kind of ugly. I like calling it a bird. I try to make wings out of it. I don't know. This is what lives in my subconscious. It was super satisfying. And anyway, that was a bit of an in motion explanation of what it'll look like to do this when your ego comes in, when your perfectionist comes in, when your imagination comes in, to just let it flow. And then it starts to make this weird internal picture. And I believe, this is why I love this exercise so much, I believe this, it's a picture of what we're in. Like I said, like I said in other YouTube episodes, we will always end up understanding that we are part of the nature of the universe. We are of the nature of the universe as ourselves. We're expressing some nature of the universe. The nature of the universe that is us. And we'll fit into the rest of the nature of the universe in a way that allows it to express more beauty and expansion. Especially if we can come into being, come into cooperation with our unconscious, which then you might want to term as your guidance or spirit. Depends on what works for you. And whatever works for you was meant to work for you, was meant to be your expression of it in its many aspects. What's beautiful about taking your patter your energy and giving it a form that is away from story is it starts to reflect, the way everything takes shape. The way everything glorious takes shape. The way everything gloriously takes shape. In whatever level of complexity that it ends up taking. So guys, I hope this was useful. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys want to, if you find yourself in a moment of not knowing with all these what to do with all these ruminating thoughts, and you just want to reset, you want a chill pill, try this out. Try some subconscious drawing out. You can also put this level of non-narrative subconscious expression into singing. This is why chants and mantras are so effective, because you don't know what they're saying, but you just know how you feel, being able to make sound and being able to feel yourself. And also subconscious moving, breathing yourself into movement meditations, things like this. And remember these same steps, guys. When you get caught in the perfectionism, know that you can let it go with the dancing, even with the singing. If you're on your own, go for it. When the ego comes in and you find yourself judging that you're stuck in a certain pattern or something, you keep doing the same drawings, you keep doing the same movements, let it in, don't fight it. Maybe that moment looks awesome in repetition. Or maybe it doesn't, maybe it does something else, maybe it leads you to something else. Maybe it points something out to you, that's why you get stuck in a moment of repetition. This. Breathe with it and watch it. Breathe with it and feel yourself doing what you're doing. Get lost in that contact with the lead and the page, all those aspects. The texture, the pressure, the shadings, the aspect, the image. Same with the dancing. The merging with the music. going to do an episode on the dancing because I do a lot of it. But I'm going to leave you here. Please, guys, put in the comments what this has done for you at any point. This would be great to hear. It'd be great to hear. I wish you could post pictures, you know. But let me know how it felt. Let me know what came up. Let me know if you were flabbergasted by these weird images that started appearing on your paper when you had no intention of actually giving it an aspect. You're just expressing emotion. And then notice that your emotions are actually part of something more creative than you could have expected. And notice the magic that you are. Okay, guys, this is Healer Holly over and out. Like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. And this series will continue. Managing your energy, breaking down what energy is into who you are, and ways to play with that and delight yourself, delight others, and create the kind of institutions that we should be creating. Well, the kind of institutions that we should be creating will create themselves anyway. Just the energetic place from which we should be facing these things. Or could be. Could be. There's no shoulds, guys. Could be. Lots of love. Healer Holly over and out.